All right. Well, Will, thank you so much for joining the podcast. Matt, you know what? I don't know if you listen to my podcast, but you understand how grateful we are to have talented guests like yourself. So it's customary that we do the over the top introduction for our buddy Will Dailey. So here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a independent recording artist, performer, and producer. He is a seven-time winner in the Boston Music Awards. Started a podcast called Sound of Our Time. Buys vinyl for the ritualistic experience. He is inspired by Fugazi, but he's no repeater. Much like Bono, he still hasn't found what he is looking for, and that is still in search of the red bullet. For the uninitiated and those who don't know, that is a candy apple red Honda Civic with original rims. He is a national throat. He is your Boston born bard of your favorite bar. Shout out Great Scott. Now he's back flipping forward in front of your face, ears, and nut holes. Give it up for Will Dailey. Welcome to the podcast.
That is the best thing I've ever heard. That is the best thing I've ever heard. Oh my gosh, I need a minute. You just turned my day around. You just turned my day around.
We try to do
Oh
what
my.
we can. We try to do what we can. But Will, now I'm serious, man. Having a guy of your caliber on the podcast, and we take this very seriously. We don't mean this lightly. I have been studying your work. I just love what you are doing. Currently, let's just jump right into it. Especially the $10 song tour. So I don't want to butcher this. Tell the people what the $10 song tour is. Uh-oh. Did I lose him? All right, you're back.
I'm back.
Yep. You're all right. So hold on. I got you twice now. So
Oh, don't stay with this one. Don't stay with this one.
you're good now.
Why is it freezing?
Oh, there you go. You did freeze. All right. I guess what I was saying is for minor glitches is I don't want to butcher this because you're embarking on something that's just a great experiment. It's called the
Yeah.
$10 song tour. I want you to tell it because I'm gonna mess this up. Please tell us about the $10 song tour.
Well, here's the thing. It's a tough thing to explain in some ways, right? Because a lot of people are asking, "Well, is anybody else doing this?" And I was like, "No, I'm not that not that I know of." I had this song, and it was the first song that I recorded, once we could be in rooms together again. And me and my longtime production partner and drummer, I said, "Look, we've all been through a lot in 2020. Let's go find a studio, someone we haven't worked with before, and track a song, and not even worry about what we're doing with it. Let's go back to our source and what we love doing, where we feel most connected to people, most comfortable in our own skin, and connected to all of this around us, right? And just make one song." And we did it, and we enjoyed it. We're like, that was cool. And then we went and worked on other stuff and started, playing a ton of shows again, doing all the work again. And I sat on the song, like, not in a bad way. I think once we could start working again, I just got on that grind, you know? And sometime around December last December in 2022, I was driving and I'm like, let me put that on. Like, what was that? It was like,
Yeah. Oh, I think he froze again. Uh-oh. I think he froze again.
I feel like the kind of moment we needed, a moment of reflection and peace and a return to just being yourself after lockdown, right?
Right, right.
And I thought, man, if I drop this into the abyss of all our content, you know, hundreds of years worth of videos are uploaded loaded to YouTube every day. 100,000 songs. So many great TV shows to watch all the time. So much news to click on, you know. Our minds and our souls are being asked a lot. And I just then couldn't get myself around how do I share this in this particular song? Just this particular one. If I drop that into that abyss of that tyranny of content, am I doing my job? And my job is like not just getting followers, clicks, and selling tickets. My main job is connecting. We're all artists. We're all making things.
Right.
You know, I remember sitting there and saying, I wish I could just share this to people one at a time in my car, like I am with you right now.
Right.
You know? And then I thought, but there's no way to do that. And then I thought, wait a minute, I can do whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. And why does my creativity have to stop when I get my master back? You know?
I see.
And why do I have to just send it into all the streaming platforms and just hope that people click on it when really I have this song that I really want you to be able to focus on and not look at your phone, not maybe get a text message in the middle of it that changes your brain a little bit. So, $10 song is what that's my big, prologue of what I decided to do, which is at all my shows, maybe forever,
Forever.
maybe forever, I'll have this particular song on the merch table on a Discman with a set of headphones that you can come up and pay whatever you want. But it's called $10 because if you pay $10 to listen to a song that's not anywhere else but that Discman that you'll
Right.
probably never again, that $10 means like, all right, I am going to put my phone away. I am going to step away from my friends. I am going to focus. But you can pay $1. A guy last night in Chicago paid 20, you know?
Okay.
And just listen to something once. And what happens to us when we can only listen to something once, to listen to a piece of music once? That's not something we have.
That's true. Okay.
The response has been wild. It's been, I could
That
go
was my
on and on.
next question because doing something like that, it has to it is going to come with a response. It's a guttural response. I just paid my money. I am listening to a disc man. I had to shut down everything. Um, was it good, bad, or I mean, how has it been so far?
So there was some people, people have cried and not, well, one friend cried because she's like, this is my favorite song you ever did. But one woman got choked up uh, because of that aspect of feeling like, I don't know the last time I listened to music where I felt like I am having a singular experience with it and it's connecting only with me in that moment. And it's not something I clicked on. And another person said to me, you know, I don't know if I've been listening to music correctly the past 5, 10 years because I told my date to stay away from me because I paid $10 to listen to this. I put my phone away. And then for the first, what they said that was so fascinating is for the first time, I wasn't sitting there thinking, what does this remind me of? What genre this is or anything. I just listened to it because I knew this is going to be my only time. I couldn't dismiss it. I had to let it in. And um, there's a lot of stuff like that And so what's also beautiful about it is there is a notebook next to the Discman,
Mm-hmm.
and the song is called Cover Clouds. And you open the notebook, all the lyrics are there, the liner notes are there, who played what, and then people are writing in the book after they're listening or while they're listening. So I have this book that's building up. I haven't been reading them
Oh,
because
okay.
I don't know what you think about that, but I just
See, that was okay. So now you got this book. Personally, I probably would read it every night, mainly because I couldn't help myself. Think about it in this situation, Will. You just paid $10 to hear a song one time. It's a pretty good chance you're never gonna hear this again. Which, if it's your favorite song, you can't really describe it. I guess you can do the best. You can do the best you can to give it to someone else. So yeah, I'm gonna write down some notes. And you're an artist. I'm sure there's a curiosity in there too to read it. So how have you not read the book? That I would do it every day.
all right, let me get the book. Let me get the book.
Okay. See, and you're holding the book. Come on. He has the book on him.
Well, I'm touring right now, so I'm in my I'm in my friend's place in Chicago.
I get that, but okay, that is the book. See, what you're doing is a master class of restraint right now. Because
I paperclip I paperclip everything. So there's last night's page.
mm-hmm.
People not looking at it, I throw it into the paperclip. But because what if, I don't know. I mean, sometimes positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement can distract you just from the project, you know?
Right, right.
Um, like if I'm in the studio and a friend visits and they say, "Oh, I really love that guitar sound," but the guitar sound was like a scratch guitar that we were going to replace later. It just messes me up, So sometimes the positive feedback can be distracting too, or I don't know.
Well, think about it. This whole experiment is about having a singular moment with, in this case, a piece of music. But in a weird way, aren't you going to do that when you finally crack open that book? You're going to have those influences. You're going to have those things. So that may inspire you or to do the next project, whatever that is, if someone wrote that. This is why I want to talk to you today, mainly because this project is so, and it shouldn't be. That's the thing. It's so wild, and it really shouldn't be. But
Mm-hmm.
we have been bogged down with information. Well, hell, look at this right now. We're on Zoom. I'm going to post this later on today, and someone's going to hear us talking about this project, and because it's without anything else. And you brought back a disc, man. You listen to it. What you got? Just and that's it. That is however long you said cover of clouds. They hear cover of clouds, and then that's it. They write whatever they write and go off into your life. Hey, remember I wrote it. It may come out later. Thank you. Come to the show. Yeah, it may or may not. Who knows?
I reserve the right to do what I want. Right now, I
Exactly.
think it's never going to come out because it makes it more special. But maybe one day, maybe that book fills up, right? And I'm like, okay, what's the next step for it? But
You don't want that. Okay, in a weird way, is that your thing? Well, at least with Cover of Clouds. You're the musician who doesn't release music.
well, check out the tune. So yeah, the musician music. Because a lot of people will be like, "Hey, it's on Bandcamp," and I'm like, I love, and it's not like anti Spotify, it's not anti Bandcamp, Apple, it's pro human experience.
Exactly. Don't get me wrong. Okay. Let me put it like this. When I hear your music, granted, I have not heard Cover of Clouds. I have not. But when I hear songs like Bad Behavior, Easy to Be Around, He Better Be Alive, and I hear songs like that, there's this melding, if you will, of genres. Yeah, like there's you have been tagged with that AM rock label, which I get it if you got to put it somewhere. But yeah, there's elements of funk, there's elements of soul, there's elements of jazz. Um, just and this is I am not a musician by no stretch of the imagination, but I have listened to tons of music. So there's elements of metal and grunge in that as well. And I assume all of this gets put in this blender, especially like a song like Easy to Be Around,
Mhm.
where there's okay, there's a switch. Okay, there's this. It's a nice song. And I love that the fact that you give you people props towards the end. It's like, hey, if you like that is important when you talk about experience. I guess the question I was getting at with this is there's always been this element of I guess interaction with you.
Mhm.
Would it be something as easy as giving your bandmates a shout out in the song during the song? If that's a level of interaction of a song that you're only going to hear one time. Well, depending on how many shows you go to, that determines how many times you may listen to this one song.
Right.
Do you cap people? Like, oh, I remember you from the Boston show. No, no, thanks. Nah,
Not if they're paying $10.
okay, okay. Just say, just put.
No, I think that's also a nice thing about it that, hey, if you come to 5 shows to listen to a song 5 times, and it's pay what you want, but that's also fostering interaction and fostering being together, which is I think what we need more than anything right now is being together in a room and interacting with each other and not interacting with our thumbs. We need to interact like this or in the same place and not with this.
This is great.
And yeah, I think I think like for me it has been tough with like the genre thing. Like I wasn't just singer songwriter. I wasn't just indie rock. I wasn't just like AM thing. I I grew up with all of this. And if you wanted an easier career, it does help to pick a lane. But my lane is this, and I'm so glad that you had heard that Easy to Be Around, because it was the precursor to this experiment, because track 2 was an instrumental where I read off everyone involved in making it.
Right.
And I feel like, all right, well, that should be the norm now. And I feel like this, even though it feels weird and different, and people are like, so does anybody else do this? I was like, no, I mean, I barely even know what I'm doing in doing it, because I have to explain it. But maybe a couple years from now, it'd be perfectly normal to go see Billie Eilish, and there's an actual fancy Billie Eilish listening booth that you go in and hear something exclusive. And I would love that. I would love that for my favorite artists. I would love something more, again, like all of our lives feels like this abyss in a way. All of our creations and content feel like an abyss. And we're all just like, I'm going to throw this into the abyss. I hope it goes in, and click on it before you can't see it anymore. Right.
Right.
Um, and it just brings me back to like, what is my job? And, it's fostering our connections with art.
Now, one of the things you're right. Now, one of the things about this that is going to have an effect, it will, because in a weird way, you get a chance to cultivate and shape your own audience.
Mm-hmm.
It will have this effect where, if for no other show, at Will's show, I'm putting up my phone, I'm putting up if I don't do that for anyone else, my phone, my keys, everything, every distraction, we're now focused on you.
Yeah.
It sounds so cheesy when you hear people say it, but it's like, I'm just here to feel the music. Well, congratulations, you are.
Yeah.
Mainly because you're probably not gonna hear it again. It's so the reason I can't get off that fact is because I've been to a bunch of concerts, and you know what happens every concert? I swear, me, my wife, my friends, whoever I go to a concert with, second you get in the car, someone is going to say this sentence. Hey, they didn't play that one song I like from this album. It always comes up, whatever X song is. So now when you have that grooming to a certain degree of your audience, you can sit down and you can play your entire library except one. So we all know what that thing is, and we're all here for it. I love this idea. I think this is great. I know you're on tour now. Um, I one thing I want more than anything, when you finally crack open that book, I want you to have your moment, take a second, and I want that feeling where you can say, "This is what I learned here," because if I am correct, I am not a doctor. I want to make that plain. All of those memories from whatever you were doing that day, when that person wrote that down. So you're going to have like this weird memory jam session because that person wrote whatever they were feeling. You're going to feel something because you just read what they wrote. And now you got this monster vat of feelings based on something not a lot of people can experience. Well, opposed to the internet, I should say. Are you ready for something like that? That should be the question. Or how do you gear yourself up for something like that? Oh, did you freeze again? Oh, Will? All right, you're back. There you go.
Oh, I'm sorry, you were like, okay, I'm not a doctor, but all
Yeah,
these
yeah.
memories.
So everything after I'm not a doctor. Awesome. Because I went on for a minute. All right. Like I said, not a doctor, but here's what you're going to do. You're going to have feelings based on when you get the courage to open up that book and actually read it. Your feelings are going to be triggered based on what whoever wrote something in that book. And then whatever they said is going to break out your feelings. So you're going to have this big feeling jam session. And honestly, selfishly, I'm putting it on Front Street. The second you do that and you come to grips with it, oh, you're coming back because we need to talk about what's in that book, mainly because and how you feel from it. I will say this: are you ready for something like that? Or better question:
You just
how would you prepare for something like that?
you just woke up something interesting. Like there's a reciprocal nature that should happen with art, you know? Um, what's always interesting when someone comes up to me and says, your favorite song of mine is this, or whatever song they say. It doesn't tell me anything about that song. I've already lived in that song. You know, I've already had my own experience with it. It starts to tell me about them. And once you get your own ego out of the way with that, like sometimes I think maybe earlier in my career, I would think, oh, what is that? That's their favorite song? Why isn't it that one? Why isn't it this one? You know, and it messes with you until I cross that kind of hurdle of being more open and realizing that person's showing me them through my song and their affection to it. It just created that little circle of love and energy and human interest. And that's exactly kind of what you're describing here in a way. And the beautiful thing about this $10 song concept is that most nights when I at least interact with a couple people afterwards, and I'm getting that reaction right in front of me on a recording, which is very rare. I mean, you would sell a vinyl record from 1940 all the way up to downloads and streaming. You're not in front of the person experiencing your song for the first time. And that has been really, really wonderful because I'm seeing the people who are, and maybe why I'm not reading the book yet, because I am getting a little bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm getting that energy of their response then and there. Even from some like, one dude in Philly was like, "Hey, that's cool, man. Cool." I was like, "Oh, cool. Great." But you shouldn't make songs for everyone, And then the next person's like, "Oh my God." And the next person's like, "I hate you. That's my favorite song you ever did. I can't believe I can never listen to it again." They're sending me
I
a
would imagine
DM.
that will come up.
Yeah, and they're sending me a DM, be like, "Had a great drive today. Just pissed I couldn't listen to Cover of Clouds," or whatever. And so all that, the whole spectrum, and that's the human spectrum. And that's, as an artist, you're like, yeah, I want to know the people who are completely moved beyond all control, and people who are like, yeah, that's cool, man. Good job, and having that thing. And then you're right. Someday my answer is no, I'm not ready for it. Maybe that's not why I'm reading. That's exactly why I'm not reading it now.
Yeah.
But one day, you're right. One day, this is going to be there for me. And you're right, change something else. And maybe in some of the ways, the same way the song did, where, I sat on it for a minute, and then it was ready for me to know what to do with it.
Mm.
And uh, I imagine I'll read this, and I think, yeah, it's got a ways to go. We got a ton of pages in here, and sometimes there's like 4 or 5 people on a page. Um, and that's also the clunky thing. It's like, I think the most I got in one night was 10 people, because it's like moving around, and the song's 6.5 minutes long. So
Yeah. And
it's
I
a
imagine you only have
journey.
one Walkman, right? So that, yeah, okay. So yeah, I get it. So makes sense.
And I could do more. I
Nah.
could do more, but then it
Mm,
seems like it's some business practice. Yeah.
yeah, don't do it. Keep it, because how you got it right now is the perfect amount. Because what you, and I think I'll close with this. It's a weird dare that you're giving each person who want to listen to Cover Clouds.
Hmm.
The dare is put your money down. You're going to have an experience. Now, I'm not going to tell you what this experience is. It could be good, it could be bad, it could be somewhere in the middle. But you're going to have it. And once you have this experience after listening to this, you're never going to have this again. Now, whatever residual feelings you have after this is totally
Hmm.
on you. Are you willing to take this dare? That's what you have done with this project, and that's kind of why I love it. And oh, by the way, before you get out of here with these feelings, write down a chunk of this on this piece of paper, and I'm not going to read it until I'm good and ready. You're cool with that? Is that worth your $10? All right, then. So I love this experiment. You cultivated
Thank
your
you.
audience. You already had me. We're getting around to it because I know I want to eat up your whole day. One thing I do want to do. Now I know Cover Clouds that's your baby. But if it's okay with you, can I school some people in the audio version of this podcast by playing a couple, especially Easy to Be Around or Bad Behavior, since we brought those up? Because I want people to hear your songs.
Hmm.
And I think we brought up He Better Be Alive too. So I'll just load those in the audio version of this.
Please do. Those three are great ones. Yeah. For
I,
for that. The
those are the
spectrum.
ones who those are my gateway drug into Will
Yeah.
Dailey. And then I
Hmm.
start going back in the band camps and all the other stuff and the over the top introduction. Did a little homework. I just want to put that out there.
I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna walk out to that introduction at my big shows, man. Lights go down, that your audio, your voice just comes up.
I'm fine with that. Feel free. But Will, this was a pleasure. I just thank you for telling us about the project, the tour, the whole shebang. But since we got a little bit of time left, I do yourself a service. Look at this camera, this camera, this side. Your IG, your Twitter, your tour schedule, whatever you want to tell the people. Just the floor is yours.
Well, if you really want to connect with me, I think IG is the best. Will Dailey Official. You just got to put Dailey for Daily, and Will Dailey Official. Um, I have a little bit of a TikTok, and Facebook is pretty good. Facebook's just Will Dailey, and I'm on Twitter and all that. But um, man, I really like seeing people in person, and I like being around people with music. I do think of my songs now that you're a little more familiar with my whole catalog. Like, I feel like I could go anywhere in the world, meet somebody, get to know them, and then pick one song out of my catalog that I feel like they would vibe with. And I never picked a lane, but I feel like I did pick people. And
Mm,
I feel like this project is an extension of that, and this conversation is an extension of that. This is one of my favorite interviews I've ever done for a podcast. I've just
thanks.
really,
We try.
and I can't wait to come back anytime.
Man, soon as you crack open that book, you have my undivided attention. Cause I need to know. I'm
You know
being
what we'll do? You know what we'll do?
uh-huh.
I'll crack it open. I'll have a moment, but I'll stop at some pages, and then we'll get on and we'll read some live together for
I'm
the
down.
first time.
Let
Isn't
me
that a
know.
cool thing? Can we do that?
I'm down. You have my undivided attention.
Where are
So
you in the world?
I am in
Where?
Detroit, Michigan, but I rap in the New England. I know you was coming. It takes, got it. He's the GOAT for a reason. Um, if we're gonna talk about 40 somethings out here still changing the world, why not rep the clothes while talking to Will Dailey, who may be a 40 something out here changing the world? So,
Yep.
Will, this podcast has been a pleasure. This has been great. And you have the open door policy because selfishly, I want to know what's in that book.
My
Will,
pleasure. And when I'm in Detroit, I'm gonna bring the song to you.
okay. I don't threaten me with a good time. I will listen. I may write something down. I'm down. Yes. The short answer, yes.
Awesome.
Will, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you,
And
Sam.
much success with everything, man. You're
Thank you.
crushing it.
Thank you so much.
All right, man. You have a go.
Peace.
Well.